Okay, so we're going to move on. And if you can't hear us, then read our lips, but you can't see our faces. So
okay, it looked like we had like 2 new people here, but it's mostly existing.
So 2 new people. Okay, so you know what? If you're a brand new person, hook up with Joe Noel on the site. There's a lot of things. You should be going through all the past webinars. All the information is still very relevant. You should be going through the forums nonstop. You should, there's just a lot of things. We're going to be adding training, but Jake and I have been absolutely crazy. We'll explain why we've been crazy.
Yep.
And that's it. So,
all right. So this slide.
Why do I need to understand some of the technical mumbo jumbo? Okay. So the reason I wrote that is because we've been going into, for those of you that are brand new and for those of you that have been around, we've been going into the Google patents. Now, there's a lot of people out there, there's a lot of marketers out there that will tell you, don't worry about the technical stuff, just do what I'm telling you to do because you don't need to know any of it, all right? Well, we don't believe that that's true. We believe that our membership is pretty freaking smart, all right? Actually, you guys have come up with some really crazy stuff over the last couple of months that we've looked into and we've been able to implement. Yep. So, it's one of those you can teach somebody, you can give somebody a fish and they'll eat for the day. You can teach somebody how to fish and they're going to be able to eat for a lifetime. And really what we want you guys to do is, there's 2 reasons why we kind of get a little bit into the technical mumbo jumbo. One is because, we need you to know which way Google is going, and not just because we said so, but we actually back it up with their patents, which, believe it or not, they actually use, so, and the second thing is when somebody else out there is telling you something and they just say, well, just listen to what I'm saying because it works. Well, and then they show you that they ranked for, SEO, underwater SEO expert in Atlantis underground or whatever else. Okay. And you go, wow, like, you get these emails and say, dude, we're ranking page 1 for, and like, you look at the term, you're like, holy shit, you got to be kidding me, right? And we've seen this with other launches and shit where people, but just because they show you that doesn't mean anything. We've seen marketers that use the same website over and over again and say, hey, I ranked this. And like, yeah, dude, you used that in the last pitch that you did.
I ranked for Clearwater, Florida.
Whatever the case it is, right?
Brain replacements in Clearwater, Florida.
So really what it is it's teaching you that, if something doesn't sound right or, if somebody can't back up why something works, and they can't explain it to you, well, that's a major problem, okay? And you should really be leery. And I'm not saying that we're the only SEOs to listen to by any stretch. There's lots of great ones.
Oh, no, absolutely. We've recommended from the beginning.
I recommend Dory Friend because I actually, Josh Pershinsky, and I always have a hard time saying that because it's like a tough name for me to, he actually does a great, he sits on like every single Google Hangout with all the dudes from Google, and he like listens for every single word and sentence that they say, and he detects. But he's really good. I mean, like, once again, algorithm. This is a technical guy though that he breaks into everything. So I actually listen to him. I listen to him quite a bit when I get a chance. But his shit's a little long. But because of the fact that he actually backs it up with real fact about lots of different things. So there are great people out there to listen to. Just once again, you got to know where they're coming from. Okay. All right, so the last reason why you need to know some of the technical mumbo jumbo is because of the fact that you can either look like this, okay? Maybe you don't want to necessarily look like him per se, right? But I'm talking about a professional. You're dealing with professionals, okay? When you can come in and you sit down with a client and you explain to them, listen, they say, well, I've had 12 SEO companies come in before you. Why are you different? And you say, well, the reason why we're different is I'm not sure if any one of them have mentioned to you that this is what's going on right now with Google. This is the reason why it's going on. And here's the backup. We actually print out the patents and we put them right down on the table. And it's usually like a stack of them, right? We usually try to double up the words and make it look really nice and thick, right? And we go, look, these are the patents. Now, if you want to take the time and you want to read through them and you want to try and figure this stuff out, that's great. I'm sure that the other 11 companies or 12 companies that came in before me don't. But I'm going to come up with the best course of action for you because I actually understand why Google is doing what they're doing because they pull it right out of their patents, all right? It's not just a little loophole. And trust me, there are people that come up with really cool fucking loopholes that they'll sell out on a WSO or whatever else, okay? But you don't need the WSOs. You don't need all of that shit.
No, if you're knowledgeable enough to the point that you're self-sustaining. You could create a WordPress site. You could go and find a low competition niche, or if you're in a higher competition niche, you go and do some on-page SEO and off-site SEO. It's really not complex at all. Maybe you add a video, maybe you add an image, so on and so forth, schema, metadata, and we're going to get into a little bit of that too with this overview. But SEO is not it's not really this big confusing monster that everybody makes it to be. The reason it is so big and confusing are because of some of the little tiny gems we found hidden inside their patents. And because of that, we've seen like this pattern, just how Google detects patterns, that they tend to change just a little bit. I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but we've definitely seen it on our end.
So we'll actually show you a couple of examples again today.
Tweak the algorithm like every couple weeks or something. That I don't know. They name it like animals or something.
And they roll it out, and then they'll dial it back a little bit because they realize they did too much or whatever else. So
it's always constantly changing. So any one thing you buy to influence one ranking factor over another, you might just be wasting your money, and you might as well,
And I can tell you guys that I actually go through almost every, I think I'm on everybody's email list at some point because I just like to see what everybody's working on. And I get tired of hearing the same rehash shit. It's just over and over and over again. So what I can tell you is that you can either go in really polished or you can go in and you can look like this guy, right? So, we could train a monkey to do your job. So if it's, if you're really interested in becoming a good SEO guy,
and that's making money doing SEO is part of that. You can't be a good SEO guy and doing it all for free. You got to be making money, not just
my father always told me, years ago, he always told me that, listen, you can find plenty of free work. You can always find free work. There will always be people out there that are looking for free work. If your time is valuable, they're not going to do free work for you, so you charge them. All right?
Yep.
All right. So, and once again,
in order to be able to charge them and be able to close the sale, you need to demonstrate value.
Absolutely.
And in order to do that, you need to understand what you're selling, what you're talking about. So
if you want to be the monkey that just says that basically, just do what I tell you because it's working right now and not really understanding the big picture, then that's fine. I will never make fun of somebody for doing that. I just think that it's very short-sighted, right? If you're going to be a programmer and somebody says, well, if you just copy this code and pop it in and not understand what the code is doing, basically Jake and I were talking about it, right? So if you don't understand what the oil in the car does, you're not a mechanic, and you understand that you got to pour oil into the engine in order for the car to work, then you're an oil changer.
Yeah, at that point you're an oil changer. You don't know how the car works itself. You just know that this tube that dispenses some oil, maybe you don't even know that it's oil. This tube that dispenses liquid goes into this thing after you unscrew it, and when it's filled up, you rescrew it. That's it. That's all you do. You're a monkey. You got a monkey job. You have access to the tools. They're right there in the bench right next to you. Nobody's stopping you from grabbing them, but you don't know how to use them. You probably do more damage than good if you were to go in and try to make some changes. And maybe that's why you're not even attempting to learn how to make changes, because you're afraid you're going to do more damage than good. And that's just, that's a logic fault right there. All you got to do is educate yourself.
That's it. So we're going to move on here real fast. So we're going to just recap, as I told you, we're going to do a little bit of a recap about
what's not working.
What's not working.
And what is working.
And what is working.
And what we're doing now, and so on and so forth.
All right. So I got an email, and I've been getting flooded with emails recently, and the emails were like, Google's going after orphan PBNs. Google's going after orphan websites. But if you just take this plugin and you slap it on there, it's going to do all sorts of fun stuff for you, and then your site's not an orphan anymore. Well, I hate to break the news to you.
Nobody wants to adopt your site.
Yeah.
Not even Google.
Right. So if your site's an orphan, chances are it's going to stay an orphan. All right. So link building through PBNs, as it used to be, is just it's just not working the way that it used to because Google's looking to target them. All right.
The same exact way PageRank doesn't work as it used to.
Absolutely. Now, Google's not looking to target. It doesn't understand that your site is a quote-unquote PBN versus another site. But it has the characteristics of what a PBN in Google's eyes are. And Google has actually come out straightforward, and they call them PBNs. I mean, they're not hiding behind it. But when a group of websites are acting in a certain way, and there's not certain metrics to back it all up, then it gets looked at as a PBN, and they're looking to slap it. Yep, an orphan PBN. And I'm going to get into what an orphan PBN is. What these other marketers were referring to as an orphan PBN, it's basically a website that Google just doesn't really care about anymore. It doesn't look at, it doesn't, the site's kind of just sitting out there by itself, and it's not really doing anything. There's no traffic coming to it. There's no action going on it. It's an orphan. It's just sitting out there.
Automatically anymore.
And Daddy Warbucks isn't going to come along and freaking pick it up. And
yep, your site probably hasn't had anything changed on it in forever at that point. Okay,
so somebody's asking, orphan PBN, and what is an orphan site? How do you know one of your sites is an orphan site or an orphan PBN? I'm going to get into that in just a couple of minutes. It's probably easier for me to flow through what we actually have, already presented, because that answer is going to be it's going to be brought up here. So, are you ready to adapt? Are you convinced that eventually it will fit? Right. So, if your PBNs aren't working, don't go out there and start changing your hosting. Don't go out there and say, okay, you know what? I need to change up my content. I need to get more, websites from auction. I need to build out more. I need to change my link structure. We already went over in the last 2 webinars about the fact that Google's looking at it like, so you buy a website at auction, okay? Google already knows what the history of it. All of a sudden it changes. It sends up a red flag to Google right off the bat, okay? Yep. If your site's not getting any traffic because you just think that you can make it very mundane and, hey, as long as it's relevant, it's going to rank because it has great metrics. Well, those great metrics don't count anymore the way that they used to.
Yep.
And that comes directly from the Google patent that we reviewed last week.
There's, for any function that you could express in an algorithm that has a varying array of data coming in, that's the perfect, model for websites appearing in a SERP. They all have different metrics and, all the different data points come in. But for all of those different functions that you could, or for all of those different algorithms that you could express in functions, you have something called a standard distribution. So that looks like a curve of, these
are curve. You guys have all seen bell curves, right?
These are accepted values and changes for this metric over this period of time. This is what looks normal across all the sites in our entire index, and this is what your site is doing over the same period of time. Yours does not fall within the standard deviation. Yours actually looks like it's jumping all around on all these different metrics that we're following.
And Jake and I had gone through, we were easily talking for about 7 hours yesterday, nonstop the entire day. Actually, it was probably even longer than that.
I got like 40, 50 pieces of paper.
But, one of the things that Google actually just came out with was, even if you go ahead and you start to make changes on your site, or you make changes on your PBNs or whatever else, and there's a refresh, that doesn't necessarily mean that your site is going to change the way that Google's reacting to it. I was kind of like mystified about that. I'm like, well, then what does that exactly mean? Well, it means that you can't just think that, all right, I can switch something and we're going to be all better, okay? You've got to almost adapt to a whole brand new way of looking at this stuff, okay? All right. So, anybody, I might be dating myself, right? But, once again, I told you I was a former Marine. So, Clint Eastwood in Heartbreak Ridge, one of my favorite good old wartime movies, improvise, adapt, and overcome, right? It's the Marine Corps motto. It's what kind of made me in life get to where I am. I was actually at my kid's school the other day, well, not maybe a couple weeks ago, and they asked, what's the number one trait you could teach your child that if you could pick one thing to teach your child, what would it be? And there were parents coming out with respect, and I'd teach them honor, and I would teach them to work hard, and you get what you want in life. And when it came to me, my answer was a little different. I said, I want to teach my kid how to be a survivor. And the teacher kind of freaking looked at me kind of half skewed. And, in life, man, life is going to throw you shitloads of curveballs, right? Whether it be financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, whether it be relationships, business, whatever it is. At the end of the day, if you can survive, then you're a winner, okay? And that has to do with your business. That has to do with dealing with Google. If you can improvise and you can adapt and you can overcome those 3 simple words, which are really actually very difficult to do, then you are a survivor and you will continue on. So when Google decides to change its algorithm and the leaves start shaking out of the trees and all these other people go, fuck it, I'm going to go back to my job selling cars, right? You're still in the mix. And mostly because you're educated, and mostly because you know how you need to adapt, and you know what you need to overcome.
And now you have the knowledge and the tools to improvise.
And you also know in 6 years from now, when Jake and I, trust me, we're not going to be here 6 years from now, but you know, that you know where to start looking. You know how to do some of the research that we've been able to do, and you know that's what we're looking to kind of push out to everybody. Okay.
Yep, pushing out this big buy button.
Somebody says, for those of us who have had our own PBNs for over 12 months, are they still sending out any link juice? Well, you know what? The question is, it all depends. And I'm going to get into how you're going to know whether that site is actually sending you, and we're not even referring to it as link juice anymore. We're going to get into that. So, what's TF? What's working right now, right? So,
what TF? It's a premium. We're not trying to impress anybody. What the fuck is working right now?
What the fuck's working right now, right? So, basically everything's still working. It's just the fact that it needs to be retweaked. So backlinks still work, okay? And they will always work. But the metric of what they're looking at as far as what's a valuable backlink versus what's not a valuable backlink, it changed. Period, the end. When I first started SEO, man, you could spam your shit right up to the top. Up until a couple of years ago, you could spam your shit up to the top. Then when it came to YouTube, you could still spam yourself up to the top. You could run GSA, or, I mean, you know, I think this guy, Peter Drew, had something called Evo or some shit like that I had, and that shit worked.
You know, we had something running on like we had one, you had, I should say.
SE Nuke, we had SE Nuke, we had fucking everything, right?
Dedicated to running bots.
X-Rummer, all that shit. And it brought the shit right, and it brought the shit right up to the top. You know, all that spam shit worked. And so what happened was Penguin came out, right? Because I wasn't really smart enough to be looking at a lot of that stuff, and I go, oh crap. And if I started looking through some of the patents, I would have realized back then that you know,
that was the natural progression.
Yeah, that was what was coming next.
Been submitted, you know, just early, like 6 months earlier. Well, not really. At that point, it was like a year and a half.
Yeah,
earlier.
I just hadn't looked. Yep. So basically, everything still works, right? I mean, you know, we don't want to be one of these people that say, "Hey, man, no, you've got to change everything." You got to adapt, okay? And adapt doesn't mean that you got to abandon everything that you're doing right now. But adapt means if shit ain't working, stop trying to put the square peg into the round hole.
Yep.
All right? So...
yeah, if the Coke button on the machine ain't giving you Coke, that doesn't mean that Dr. Pepper's not available.
Right. It just, you're still going to get something to drink at the end of the day, right? So this is what's working, right? And, well, this is what will always work because it's based on Google's own patents, all right? And Google uses their own patents within their algorithm, so you know the shit's going to work. Proper keyword research. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down all of these, but we're not going to make this too long because like we know that we kind of run off at the mouth a little bit. And I'm going to blow through all of these, right? So proper keyword research. That is like the number one thing, right? And any guru out there worth anything should be telling you that if you don't do your proper keyword research, well, then you're kind of dead in the water right from the beginning.
Yeah, you don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Absolutely. You know, on-page SEO. Either know it or you suck, all right? And on-page SEO isn't all that difficult, all right? Long-tailed plus keyword plus mass reach, which is what we do with our landlord-style sites, right? That's what works. It works great right now, all right? And it will continue to work. It may need to be tweaked down the road, and we've already had it tweaked multiple times.
Actually, in the past 3 weeks, actually 2 weeks, there's been some big changes.
Yeah, there were some big changes. So, you know, what we actually realized was that, you know, we started tweaking out how we were building stuff. And really that was half the reason why a lot of you guys that were trying to get into the beta SERP landlord launch.
Yeah, after we were like through the first round of alpha, we realized that.
I'm not looking to write an apology letter on semeasy.com saying that I fucked everybody because I put out a product that I knew wasn't going to work a couple of weeks before it was ready to launch. So
exactly.
So that's it, right? So long-tailed plus keyword plus mass reach.
And then WebEdge is jumping ahead with his question here.
Yeah, so guys, you know what? Hold on to some of these questions unless it's directly in regards to what we're talking about here, just because I'm going to jump into each one of these.
And we're going to have a QA.
And we're going to have a QA at the end.
Otherwise, your questions are going to get lost. We're going to have to scroll up to the top, and we're going to spend another half hour just trying to figure out who asked what when.
All right, schema markup. if you guys don't know anything, and Jake was actually screaming about schema like months before anybody even started talking about it.
Semeasy was even launched.
Yeah.
There's nothing on Semeasy.com. It was your old business site at that point.
Yeah, it was my old business site that was just doing local SEO and some national SEO, and I really wasn't taking. We still really don't take on new clients. We got
a few national clients, and every once in a while we get a new prospect and a new client, but it's, we're stabilized.
Absolutely, and we decide who we're going to work with and who we're not, and we're fortunate enough to be able to do that.
Exactly.
So schema markup, if you guys don't know it, there's a whole training on it, but schema.org, and I'm going to get into that. Okay, this is where some people were saying, if it's not link juice, what do we call it now? Well, it's backlinks with user flow. Okay, user juice. Yeah, not to be confused with man juice, okay? It's user juice.
Ben's head just turns.
No, it absolutely did not.
I heard the snap from here.
All right, so basically what happens is when we're referring to orphan PBNs, and this is why I didn't want to kind of kill this whole thing here, okay, until we got to this. So if you have a PBN, right? So let's say I go out to GoDaddy. I buy a website that I've looked at the metrics, I've looked at everything, it's a PR5, it's a freaking PADA, it looks awesome. And nobody's coming to this site at all. Guess what? Google's not going to push forward the metrics or any of that power of that backlink back to your website. And if they do, it's going to be minuscule, okay? The reason being is that Google realized real fast, and they did it with that last patent, okay, that they needed to be able to combat black hat SEO tactics, mainly.
We gotta get that webinar up today.
Yeah, mainly PR, PR link scope, PR, manipulation, as far as being able to push through link juice.
Well, the patent specifies a few metrics that they look at directly, and then it also says on the very last line that these are only to be used as examples. We could use these methods for any metric that exists in any of our algorithms currently existing or to be created in the future.
And part of it, we're right here on this page, right? They mentioned on-page SEO. Huh?
Yep.
All right, so they mentioned on-page SEO.
Yep. There's long-tail keywords and their relevancy and content, parsing patents.
All right, we're going to get into the proper foundation of a group, but according to the patent, and we see this firsthand, we're going to show you some examples today. One of the best ways to figure out whether a website is just basically a spam website versus a non-spam website is there a foundation of a group? And we'll explain to you exactly what a group is. A group is pretty freaking simple, but we'll explain to you, we'll show you a couple of examples. Schema markup, once again, it allows any time where Bing, Yahoo, and Google are all going to get together, and I think Yandex and a bunch of others have jumped on the bandwagon now. When these big guys all get together and say, we should use this code so all of our search engines understand exactly what the metrics are and exactly the information that they're trying to pass to us, well, then we all need to pay attention, because if you don't, then you're just sleeping at the wheel.
Yeah, and very rarely do we say pay attention to what Google is actually telling you to do.
Absolutely. Well, we're paying attention to their actions, really, right? If they're teaming up with everybody, you're paying attention to their actions.
Yep.
And then backlinks with user flow. Google specifically goes into the fact that it's looking at a user funnel from the time that they log on to the browser to the time that they shut that browser off, okay? So if your backlinks are getting 0 users coming through it at all, it's a real easy factor for Google just to be able to filter right out and say, okay, this thing has absolutely no user metrics on it at all. Why do we even count it? Obviously, nobody else thinks it's important, right? I mean, back in the day, Google, you would rank because you got a link back to your website. What's a link back? It's a vote, right?
Yep.
Because Google said, hey, people think it's important.
And everybody's vote was equal.
And everybody's vote was, for the most part, equal, and then they started looking at other metrics of,
well, that's
what the power of, what the power of this vote is versus this vote. But at the end of the day, Google looks at it and says, okay, well, it's too easy to manipulate all of the PR type metrics, right?
So their first change was let's weight the backlink strength, but let's weight it based off how many backlinks or the page rank of the site that's backlinking. So now your vote could be multiplied by 10, if you have a good PR. Let's say take take your votes and multiply them by your page rank would be the simplest way to explain it. So if I have a page rank of 10 and I'm sending through a 5, let's say, I'm sending through 50 points versus if I have a page rank of 3, I'm sending only 15 points or 15 votes.
Right.
Yeah.
So now Google looks at it and says, well, you know what? If the backlink is actually important, there should be users following that backlink to where it's going.
Yep.
And that's basically, they just kind of added on to the same exact. So
it was that and a little bit something else too. It was that if these sites aren't from like you're going into the pre-authorization here, but it's also if these backlinks aren't from these pre-authorized and trusted sites such as news sites or social media sites and networking sites, then not only are we going to give them a lower strength, but those are going to go straight into the algorithm to detect if there's some manipulation going on, and it'll straight up trigger the red flag for either manual review or further automated review.
Or an algorithmic review penalty right off the bat. So that's kind of that's kind of where we sit with this. So now what we're going to do is let's just go in real fast, and when I say real fast, we're going to try and make this fast, right? So we're going to go in and we're going to just try and break things down for you on each one of these points. Now, before I get into this, I can tell you that when Jake and I do SEO for clients, we only offer them 3 things, and that's it, right? We know what our strengths are, and we offer them 3 types of SEO services, or not even 3 types of SEO services.
So it's like 3 packages.
3 packages within, and all 3 of them together are just killer, right? So the first one is, most clients don't really give a rat's ass about what you do as long as you're going to get them traffic and as long as it's not going to get them hurt, right? So we're going to discuss proper keyword research, but I'm going to discuss proper keyword research really on the metric moving forward of like the long-tailed keyword mass research, because there's too many courses out there about keyword research and everything else. Some of it I agree with, some of it I don't. But all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up. Right here.
I do a private tab. It's incognito.
Yeah, we can do. I guess we could do incognito.
Remove any cache.
All right.
My porn office viewing.
Yeah. All right. So there are 2 ways about keyword research, right? The first way is we get to pick the keywords that we want to rank for, right? So if we decide we're going to be doing some affiliate, or we decide we're going to be leasing out websites or whatever else. And also for those of you with websites, there have been other products out there that like try to explain to you if like you put a little banner up on the page, people are going to lease this shit themselves. Okay, I can tell you from somebody who has more websites with banners and using the double agent plugin and everything else that the shit just don't work. We actually did it just so we could, we thought it was kind of cool, and we were like, oh, we can show people examples, and maybe we'll start a conversation.
And it'd be really easy to call up a client, and that's how we use it. We call up a client, we tell them to go to the site, and
we've already overlaid it.
Yeah, we found that it's more effective to just straight up manually overlay the site, either on the specific page that's showing up in their search,
or category,
or if you do it, if
site,
the prospect is for the entire site, it's for the entire site. So that's the nation, yeah. Well, no, site, it does.
Oh, site, site,
nation,
right.
Site. I mean, the site could be a state, whatever. But, that's really the best way to do it. And, when we went out and we coded it, we didn't have a network of 20,000 sites to play with. We had a network of like 300 sites to play with. Right. So we didn't really have all the solid metrics for it, but we knew that it was a bonus option to have in there and that it could convert potentially. It just didn't convert anywhere near the levels.
And it was a different way of doing SEO, right? Because, right, I kind of got tired of like going out there and doing SEO, and like somebody who I had #1 for the word medical supplies turns around and says, well, you know what, I think I'm going to hire my manager's brother, who he says he knows a lot about SEO. And then I'm out the door. They're still sitting at #1, and I can't do anything to shut them off.
Yeah.
All right. So we wanted to do instant SEO where we could show somebody instant results because nobody else was doing it. Mm-hmm. And also, if they stopped paying, we were able to shut them off. I mean, that was the whole goal of that. That plugin was like, show instant results, and when you stop paying, I had a light switch to shut you off.
Yep.
And I already put all the hard work into getting that website to rank. I just go out and find another client.
Yep.
That was it. It was like the best way of doing SEO ever.
Yep. Still is, in my opinion.
It still is. So, but, you got to have a lot. If you're doing these long-tailed pages, right, you got to have a huge net cast because each one of these pages are only getting maybe 1 search a month or maybe not even. So the wider net you have cast, the more people you're going to bring in, the happier your customers are going to be.
More fish you're going to catch.
So let's just go over some keyword research real fast. And I know you're kind of like looking at my blank screen here real fast. So what am I doing? Okay, so
we're gonna go into
all right. So
research.
how does my brain work?
Just like this, all over the place.
I think I fucked something up.
No, just click that.
All right. So the first thing is when we're going to go out, if we get to pick our own niche, that's great because right off the bat, we stay away from most of the home-based service offerings. All right. When people come to us and like, oh, I want to rank for plumber, I kind of get a giggle and I'm like, or I want to rank for weight loss, or I want to rank for. We go for niches, and trust me, guys, there's like billions of niches out there where people will pay lots of money for great leads. So, physical products work, stuff outside of the home service industries because, yeah, you can fight if you want to, but why, right? Why fight? So, the home-based service industries, they've got Yelp. So let's just go in here, and I'm going to...
You go to Yelp. We'll go to Yelp.
So here, if I type in here, let's say, for instance...
Okay, Google, have them do it.
Plumber, suffer in New York. Okay. Now, you can see I got a yellow book. There's a couple of people here ranking, all right? There's a Manta. There's a Yelp. There's a Super Pages. Usually you'll find...
nothing on the screen.
Nothing on the screen.
Ah, interesting. Nothing on the screen, guys. Huh. Maybe we did the incognito window? That's weird. It says people. All right, we're going to pause the screen share and resume it in just a quick second. All right.
You know what? Let me take off the incognito and see if that...
Oh, now we're on monitor 2. That's why. Screen and monitor 2. There we go.
Can you guys see it now?
Okay, it says on the second screen for, I don't know how that happened, but go to webinar, switch the screencast from the secondary screen to the first screen. Good thing it didn't throw it into the Oculus or we would have had no idea where it was.
All right, so, okay, plumbers, Bronx, New York, okay? Yep, you got your map listings in here and everything else. You see a lot of Angie's List, Super Pages, Home Advisor, all of this sort of stuff, okay? So the main thing is if I go into a niche where I know that there's very little competition, and I don't want to say like, little competition versus what a niche is worth. Like, for instance, with my lapel pin business, right? For those of you that don't know, here, you could type in, let's say, custom lapel pins. Let's go with Mahwah, New Jersey. If you guys do a search on your side, you'll probably see the same screen as mine, right? So I own 80% of the page right now. Okay, these are all my sites. And every time you click on one, it just keeps bringing you back to my site. Okay, so that's one. That's one guy here. This is my main website.
The double agent site loaded faster than your main site there.
Yeah, I think it's also we're streaming right now.
That might be it.
All right, so all of these sites, and this was an old double agent. We didn't even fix that one.
Literally, we haven't touched this website.
Oh, and freaking...
Since we pushed it, this was one of the earlier beta tests. Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Look at that. Shit's not even freaking working. So.
But it's still ranking, and that's what's important.
Yep.
Because when all of them went to 404s, there was a week that I messed up and I didn't realize when I was reconfiguring our server move. I forgot to set the configuration files for Andrew's double agent sites, or his landlord style sites, I should say. So they never propagated over. And then your manager actually brought it up to you, or did you bring it up?
Yeah, he was like, dude, he's like, man, he goes, the calls just stopped. But what I'm showing you is like, this is like page domination, right? So.
I don't know, this one didn't.
Yeah, it is.
That's weird.
Yeah, I'll actually have to double check them, but we own 80% of the page for the ones that are working, right?
Yeah, for any customer, like when I'm searching Google, I usually hold down the control key when I click, or I click with the middle mouse button if I'm at my desktop and have an actual mouse to click, and open up like the top 4 results. in separate tabs and then go through them, because usually the first one's not that it's usually not something I want, but I'm usually looking for something and I want to compare all the data that's out there. So, you know, if I'm a client and I'm doing that and I'm clicking bop, 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 and Andrew's taking a note of the sites that aren't loading right.
Yeah, I absolutely am. So anyway,
it's definitely because we're streaming now, because nothing's coming in through Google at all. So it's got to be the web stream.
Yep.
And these pages just loaded before. Anyway.
Okay, so like I said, you guys kind of get the idea in reference to that. Well, actually, you didn't get the idea in reference to that. So what we're going to do is basically how my brain works. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a keyword, and let's say I'm going to go with it's a PBN link.
Oh, that what? No, that's not.
What's a PBN link?
Not sure.
Okay. So basically what I'm going to do is somebody throw out a niche to me real fast so I can just show you how my brain kind of works.
Oh, why did it not show up?
Because the site that I put in the overlay, either the bit.ly link got fucked up or something got screwed up.
No, it just showed up before. I don't know what's going on with it right now.
Midget porn.
I think
Okay.
it has to do with the stream out, because we're having problems getting stuff in. Wacky programmers. It's all my fault.
All right. So let's go with this. Let's go with PHP programmers. Okay.
Programmers.
Programmers.
Google, fix it.
Okay. So PHP programmers. I'm not going to fight with Elance and Odesk and Wikipedia and Wikibooks and all this other sort of stuff, okay? But I can guarantee you never used mine. Frank wanted, like, what did Frank want? Ladies' pants, I know. Frank wanted midget porn.
Justin's taking after Frank today.
All right, so if, like, I'm a PHP programmer, right, which I'm not, right? And I type in PHP programmers suffer New York. Well, I can tell you that what do I have? I'm sort of fighting with is like
Indeed,
Simply Hired, yeah,
and LinkedIn.
Chances are I'd be able to take that pretty freaking fast. All right, you know,
it's almost the same results back to they're
absolutely.
Yep.
Let's do here web designer. All right, because we actually had somebody who was a web designer. Okay, web designer, suffer New York. So once again, you're going to get Indeed. You got a mom and pop place here. You got Glassdoor. You got a Facebook page. I got Hack College, educationnews.org, which are just EDU sites and stuff like that. I know that I could probably rank for this pretty fast. Now, what I would do is I'm going to pick a couple of other locations. So I'm going to pick, give me another location. Let's do
Clearwater, Florida.
Now, what I want to do is I want to take a look at what that last...
Look at that. Now we got a map pack to compete with. No, web design.
So let's make a web design, right? So you got a map pack in here, but you got a mom and pop place. You got another mom and pop place. You got another mom and pop place. Another mom and pop place. So what I'm looking for right now, and let me just go back to web design. Let me just do this so everything is equal. Suffer in New York. Okay, here I'm looking at Indeed and all of that. I got the Suffering Free Library. I got the local community college.
So overall, it's not the easiest term in the world, but it's not impossible. It's not like plumbers or something like that. With enough metrics on your side, you'll be able to take your
So going here now, I did Plano, Texas, right? So web design, Plano, Texas. You'll see that there's a bunch of mom and pop places. What I'm not seeing though is and I usually pick out like 5 locations or 10 locations depending on how hard I'm going to hit that niche. If I'm not seeing the same national huge sites ranking in each one of those locations, then I look at it and say, yep, okay, we're going to drive the stake right through this and we're going to be able to take it. When I start seeing the same exact website showing up in multiple locations is when I start to go, okay, let me put the brakes on. So, for instance, if somebody was just dead set that they had to go for plumber, I would say don't go after plumber, go for more of a long-tailed after plumber if you just absolutely had to, right? But what you want to do is you want to take a look at your keywords. You want to pick out 5 to 10 locations across the U.S.
Yeah,
you want to check all of them side by side and see. I mean, if you have mom and pop places, and you can go ahead and take a look at some of these websites here, see how many backlinks they have going to them and everything else. And like I said, it will give you a pretty decent idea. Now, we're building out websites, which we'll get to in a little bit, that are just absolutely massive, and just the internal strength of the website itself just crushes it. And what's great about these is because of the internal linking structure and the mass volume of the website, it gets authority pretty fast, it gets the trust pretty fast, and also you're never going to get slapped because there's no backlinks. So it's just everything that's in with Google's patent is just it's aces.
You need the backlinks with it. It's crazy. And you know, I had clicked the checkbox for no index, and I stupidly unchecked it on one of our test sites before, you know, I was going to run index assault and then ran into a small little bug, so I never ran the assault, but then came back and checked a bit later, and the site was indexing. There's no sitemap generated. We never pinged out the site or anything, but, you know, Google knew about it, so they were checking it. They saw the robots.txt change, so they reparsed the site, and they started crawling it all on their own. Yep. You know, it was crazy. It didn't index at the same exact speed, like nowhere near the same exact speed.
We just put out a couple of sites like 2 days ago, and they were already starting to index by themselves without us even touching them.
Yep.
I mean, they're not indexing anywhere close to the speed of index assault, but we actually just put these up because we're making a couple of tweaks to index assault for what we're looking to do.
So we just optimize them properly. You know, 2 years of research with the right metrics on your side, the higher in the SERPs you'll slide.
So, so proper keyword research. Really, guys, it's going through and it's looking and saying, you know, at least as far as the long-tail keywords, what are my competition looking like on you know, multiple areas, multiple fronts, right? So I pick out my 10 locations and I just want to check everything there. What the hell am I doing?
Web designers in Texas. I don't know, man.
I don't know. Hold on one second. Hold on.
There we go.
Okay. I wanted to go back to this because, all right, we're going to move on to on-page SEO. All right.
How does your brain work, Andrew?
Yeah.
Back and forth and back and forth.
Back and forth and back and forth. So on-page SEO elements. We're just going to nail this real fast because most of you guys should know this. We actually have a webinar. It will get up in reference to going into the internal aspects of all these on-site SEO. But you need to have a solid title tag, all right? Your title tag shouldn't be spammy, and when you're using stuff like SERP Shaker and other pieces of software that automatically builds out these softwares, you got to be really cognizant of the fact that you can make that title tag really spammy really fast, and the whole URL structure can become really spammy really fast. So if it's like, I want to rank for, you know, plumbers near you / plumbers in New York / plumber in Suffolk, New York / call a plumber in New York. Well, you freaking mentioned the word plumber 5 times in the URL string. If you don't think Google, now, you would look at that as an SEO guy and go, holy crap, what sort of SEO noob is doing that? You didn't realize it because you're using the software to create it, and because it's creating things at, you know, not all in front of you at the same time, then you don't even realize it until after the fact, and because now you're married to it because you just built it, you don't want to, you know, resort to the fact that you just made a spam sandwich.
Yep.
So,
there's a question here. When should we put double agent on the index on the site during the? Oh shoot! No, that's the grammar's weird.
Okay.
There.
When should we put
DA on during indexing?
Or after?
Okay, yeah, DA on during indexing or after indexing. You shouldn't run index assault until your site's like in the status that it would be, you know, in the state that you're ready for Google to have its first, you know, set of metrics about. So if you go in and you index your site out and then you either add some videos or you turn off the video insert and you had it on before, or you turn on double agent and it wasn't on before, Google sees the change in the CSS files and the HTML files and the JavaScript files. It doesn't know that you put double agent on your site right there, and it really doesn't care. Google does not care about it right now.
What I'll tell you is that
we have actually 2 branches of the code that are, one of them's pre-written and the other one's just all written out like needs to be turned into actual code, but we have contingencies for our contingencies should Google change their status.
So, I mean, the quick answer to that question is when I'm doing a 300,000, when I have a 300,000 page website that we're building out, after 100,000 pages, I'll start flicking it on. Because at that point, it's just grabbing other additional tag pages and everything else. Google's had a chance to digest most of it, just hasn't had a chance to kick it back into the index. Mm-hmm. So I usually, you know, by the time I index assault it, unless like I'm really rushed, I give it about a week, thereabouts, and then, you know, move on with life.
Yep. If if I already have made a spam sandwich, what's the best way to make it a delicious smorgasbord?
Buy a new domain and start over.
Yeah, I mean, if you pay $10 for your site, then it's best, chalk that $10 up to, research and experience, information gained, or knowledge gained, information.
And we have fucked up more than one site in our building and testing process. So, okay, description tag. Description tag actually gives absolutely no weight at all to your actual SEO, except, and this is a real key metric right now, it would potentially increase your click-through rate from the SERP to your site. And when that click-through rate increases, so does your rankings, because Google looks at that. So you want to write a killer description tag. Now, what we're finding more and more is that Google will ignore that description tag quite a bit and will actually show different description tags based on the keywords that you're using to search if it's the same site showing up in the SERP. So it may decide that it wants to use your description tag this time. It may decide that it wants to pull different text because it thinks that that's a little bit more relevant to what the person's searching for. The keyword metadata tag, we don't use that at all anymore. We actually stay away from that. At one point it was decent because when people used to bookmark your site, it would use those as like tags and shit, but I don't know anybody bookmarking sites anymore, really. Okay, H tags, proper use of your H tags. For those people that don't know, an H tag, usually your title tag, depending on your template, okay? Your H1 tag is usually your title tag. It may not be, so just check it. We go down to H4 tags. So we do H1, H2, H3, H4. When we build out our sites, we build it out with one main keyword and a list of related or LSI keywords. Yeah, well, we usually take the top three.
To G. Murdy's quick comment here saying description tag is a search visitor click magnet. If it appeals, it will be clicked.
Yes, and that's exactly it.
But depending on how niche down your term is, Google, like Andrew was saying, might choose to take a selection of text that includes that exact match keyword inside of your text instead of your description itself, if Google feels that your content or that paragraph in the content better matches the user search query.
Now, somebody actually said, I found that Google was pulling text from my sidebar and the description looked horrible. Yeah, unfortunately that shit happens. What I would do is if that information on your sidebar is getting pulled, change exactly what that information is to what you want it to be, and then put that other information somewhere else in your sidebar. And hopefully Google, will see that there was a change and try and, kind of refresh what its description is going to be for your site.
Yep.
All right. So H tags. We go down to H4s.
Yep, Darren. Darren already did it. Good for you.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's just a matter of waiting at this point.
Darren said that's what I did, so fingers crossed, and now it's just a matter of waiting.
And like we said in the last patent, it could be anywhere from a week or, 24 hours or even less, all the way up to, in the worst cases, we've seen on our end, like 2.5 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is waiting, and it's not knowing, and you might bounce around a while for the next week or so, but stay with it.
Somebody's asking, can you have more than one H2 tag? You really don't want to unless that H2 tag happens to be a video schema markup or whatever else. It looks at it differently in that case, but you don't want to have two H2 tags on a page that you're actually putting in there. You want to have just one H1 tag, which is usually your title tag. Your H2 is, we put all of our keywords, so you pick your main keyword and like your 8 LSIs. We put them in order of importance.
Yep.
So then we pick usually the first top 3, which comes the H2, the H3, and the H4 tag.
Yep.
And we're finding that by spinning out some of those H tags, we're getting some decent results.
Yep.
Still playing with that a little bit.
And now this is just the flow, the process that we've come up with after all of our testing. We're not saying this is the only way to do this. In fact, we encourage you, to try to find other ways. That's why you're part of membership groups like this, so you could participate with each other. We're not saying we're the end-all, be-all, definitive guide to, ranking, dominating, excelling in every single SERP every single time without any work and making lots of money. That's nobody's selling that, at least not on our site. They better not be, because this stuff takes work, guys, and we're doing our best, and you should be doing your best for your business as well.
Images. Once again, an image on your site is, it's usually it's a bonus point. You want to go through and you want to make sure that you optimize any of the images on your site because, One of the companies that I was working for, major brand, national brand, they were getting so many visitors just because they optimized all their images, and they were popping automatically up in Google Images and everything else, getting ridiculous amounts. And it was in the jewelry industry, so it was huge. Somebody liked the image, all of a sudden they're clicking on it and they're turning into a buyer. So images different.
It depends on the size of your site, but
yeah, if you have a 300,000 page site, or like if you're targeting 30,000 areas, you should mix up your pictures. You shouldn't be using the same picture on every single site, on every single page.
Do you need 30,000 unique images that you have the secure licensing rights to? No, Google's not getting that far into it, and they expect certain things to be repeated.
However, if you do have that picture and Getty Images starts to come after you, you're going to have an issue. So make sure that you're okay to have that picture. So a video, once again, video is great. We don't really find that video makes the site rank much better because there's a video on the page, but there's an indirect relationship that the longer somebody stays on your page, the better your page will rank. So by putting a nice video on the page that somebody's going to sit there, click on, and that it's relevant. Also, it's a great link back to an authoritative website, which is one of those things we always love to have. So is a Google map or whatever else. It's a link back to Google.
Yep. On your target site, whatever site you're trying to rank, you have to have some spread of the link juice out from it. It can't be a dead end.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, IA will add the videos for you exactly in the format that it needs to be.
It'll even add the
schema markup and everything else for you. Once again, the video is going to keep people on that page a lot longer, and video is a key element to getting pages indexed really fast because Google owns YouTube. YouTube is Google. Even though they say that there are two different companies, they are not.
Yep.
And obviously, your content. And guys, once again, we don't use affiliate links or anything else. Spinnery Writer 5.0, right?
Ridiculously awesome.
Yeah, ridiculously awesome. They really reworked it nicely. Not that it was bad before, but it's killer now.
They made it like 3 times faster and added in a ton more synonyms and better checking of the syntax
and understanding what that word means in a sentence.
Processing, it's really good. I think there was a small glitch with their syntax generation, but I think they fixed it. It was just a small missing like a
bracket.
Yeah, if the entire syntax or post to be syntax started with a comma, it would miss the first bracket and throw the entire thing out of whack, but I'm pretty sure they fixed it.
And in reference to your content, all right, on your money site, guys, and I'm talking about, for instance, if you're going to be overlaying a website, right, take the time and get good content written, right? Good content makes people convert. If you're doing these, keyword plus, geo-targeted locations and you're looking for a widespread, spin the shit. Just go into Spinnery Writer. We have training that we showed people. I think it's free content for your PBNs or whatever else. Shit works like a charm every single time.
Yeah, that was version 4, but the user interface is exactly the same. I think they added in one extra checkbox on the front end, but check it. That's the instruction.
Did you get your content using the Spinnery Writer version 5.0? For our new sites, we're using that, yeah, but our last version was 4.0, or it was 3.0 when it was out.
The 5.0 sites are ranking awesomely right now.
Oh, great. Absolutely great. Tags for WP. One mistake that I'm seeing, tag pages, once again, this is one of those things, tag pages back in the day were ranking really well. You can go on some of the past webinars and I'll explain how I may have screwed that up for everybody by talking to Matt.
Matt Guts.
No, not Matt Guts. Matt from WordPress. Matt Mullenweg.
Mullenweg.
And yeah, I was having lunch with him and I explained how great tag pages rank in WordPress.com, and that shit got killed.
Yeah.
So the one mistake I'm seeing with a lot of people, like they'll try and build out a site and they'll make like fucking 10, 15, 20 tag pages for each page. And then they wonder why their site's not ranking because, once again, you got a fucking spam sandwich.
Yep, and then there's people on the other side of the spectrum who didn't use tags properly, and they used it the exact same way as category, as almost like a bridge between their category silo and what the pages are about, thinking that it needed that relevancy link. But no, that's what your content's for, and your URL or URI. That there's all those different metrics that are a ton more important than your interlinking structure. But what you've done is removed a ton of pages from your traffic net which is really what it is. You've removed a ton of pages from your net, either shrunk it down or put a hole in it, however you want to visualize it. And what you've also done is ruin the beautiful interlinking that was before, because now if you think about how it was niched down, say you have 8 unique tags for every page that's in there, not 16, not 20, and not 1 or 8 unique tags for, or 8 tags across all posts in your site, then you have a link flow going from your main silo, which is your location database, down into your niches and categories for that specific location. So instead of seeing your one location now branching off into 50 states again, or this service in 50 states, it only sees 8 sub-related services in that one state, city, whatever that page is itself.
So yeah, you want to use those tags. You don't want to overuse them, and you want to make sure that those tags are giving you that widespread for additional keywords.
Yep.
Site structure, same thing. You want to silo shit out correctly. WordPress does a great job of doing most of that themselves if you're using the correct templates. They basically will do it for you.
Yep. We like to stick with default templates because we're overlaying our landing page on top of our page anyway. The sites we're generating, or we're overlaying our client site on top anyway.
Absolutely. So we don't really give a shit.
Yeah, who cares what it looks like?
Absolutely.
And you could,
Rule of thumb, how many tag pages? Once again, we like one main keyword, which goes in our title tag, and 8 additional keywords. Each one of them is an LSI, and each one of them is a tag, with location.
So change images on large sites during SSL sites. Should we run part of them, change the images, and then run the rest?
No.
Surfshaker sites. Yeah, I got really, really frustrated with Surfshaker, and that was the influence and inspiration for my builder, our builder, really.
Yep.
So it's we don't really. There's an awesome Surfshaker support network out there. They have Facebook groups and stuff you could join if you got those types of questions. We're just not the best people to answer them because we're not using the software every day. We have our own software that does it.
Right.
So not turning you away, just saying, there's better people to ask than us.
Do you have an alternative to Surfshaker? Yeah, in some respects we do. We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Yep.
Okay, so maps. Question is, do you want to add maps? Does it make sense for you to add maps? If you're doing these local type of lead generation pages, or, geo-targeted plus keywords, then we like to put the maps in. Once again, it's just another great link back, if nothing else. But also it does give you some authority, and it gives you relevancy to the area that you're trying to rank for. Outbound authority link, do you need it? Well, I don't think so. If you have the video and you got the map, I can tell you that we actually had a shitload of sites that got penalized because we tried to backlink to an authority site, and they freaking went ahead and disavowed all of the links coming from one of our networks. It was bad. We wound up getting shitloads of sites just killed. Schema, yes, it's an absolute must. You got to use it. URL slug. Once again, I was talking before about the URL slug. Don't make it too spammy. Don't make it too freaking, don't make it too spammy. Just, keep it cool. All right, hold on one second. I want to do this because somebody is asking, can we show some examples? So here, online. Let me just see if I have a decent example. Okay, so here, I'm going to pull this over here real fast. This is one that we created during one of our webinars at one point, right? So this right here is my title tag. It's my H1.
You want to click in the posts itself? Because right now we're on the home page.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Loading in the list of recent posts.
All right, so here you got, this is our title tag, or H1. Where is my elements?
You got the magnifying glass on the left side there.
There we go.
And you can click in. So that's an H1 entry title right there. It's got the proper class. It's got the proper, DOM object.
Okay, let's continue down here. This is an H2.
Now, it may not look like an H2 that you're used to, but H2 is, again, a DOM object or DOM element, and then its styling is in CSS. So your H3s might look bigger than your H2s. It's all on CSS. They're not that they're not. Google does see it, but they're not doing all that.
We're actually using Chrome right now.
Yep.
Somebody's asking, are we using...
I like to develop in Firefox for Firebug. I like Firebug for Firefox a lot better than Chrome's developer tools.
So, David, I'm not sure if you're brand new, and you're asking, what are we referring to with regards to schema? So, if you're not sure what schema is, we have a great training where we did a live webinar that Jake did, went really far into what schema is. And basically, schema is just simple code that all the different search engines can actually read, and then they can understand what it is. And I'll actually scroll down. I'll show you here in a second.
Of the implementation.
So this is, once again, this is our map listing going back. Let me just scroll down here.
Right on the video. It'll be on the video title.
So right on the video.
Go to the video title.
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Click there. It'll bring the code editor down to it. So you see span item prop. So div item prop.
So yep. So it did actually show it as an H2, but because the H2 is an actual video, Google's not gonna hit you on that at all.
No, that's fine. So you can see the item prop, video, item scope, item type, schema.org, video object.
And this is what Index Assault automatically does for you. It inserts this into all of your posts.
Yep. So if we look at that, we could see we're zoomed in that far on this page. Now I know why we're zoomed in so far. It's zoomed out. Yeah, so you can see the default properties for video object are caption, company, thumbnail, transcript, etc., etc. And we go and include them all in here for you. Thumbnail.
And somebody's saying Schema Creator by Raven and WP repo. Yup.
Yeah, absolutely. But
there are lots of different schema plugins out there.
It's not going to insert the videos for you.
No, but if you're looking to insert schema, I think he was in regards to David's question.
Okay, yep.
There are plugins in there that will basically just allow you to fill out a little form, and then it will slap that schema right in there. And it's great, for instance, if you're trying to do local SEO for a restaurant or a business or whatever else, put those addresses in there, what type of business it is and everything else, and you just truly dominate. It's amazing. So, all right, so that's this is one of the examples. Once again, this is part right here. You're going to see it links forward, it links backwards. These are our tags here.
Click on a tag, you can see how many are inside.
You want to see how many tags are inside? I mean, how many?
1, 2 posts.
2 posts, because this was a state. For the state, we doubled up.
Yep.
Let me just...
Yep, so only 2 posts per tag.
Yep. Mostly we only do 1, because on our bigger sites, we don't double up.
Yep.
All right, so hopefully that answered that. Let's get back to which one is...
Doug, for it's a directory page, so just make sure you have your website, yourdomain.com/directory loads up a actual page. If you're getting a 404 error or getting redirected anywhere, then that's probably the cause of your problem.
What was the schema plugin? Somebody had said Schema Creator by Raven. Okay, so long-tailed keywords. Guys, hold on to some of the questions. We're going to get to that in a little bit. Okay, so here, let's just do, once again, online reputation management, Bronx, New York. I'm going to kill this real fast.
Oh, look at that.
So we still have some stuff out here. Not as much as we pulled out.
Before.
Yeah, we pulled out some of those sites, but this one is actually ours, right here. I could change this to, and you guys got to remember, some of these sites, they're like big lighters. After a while, here, like for instance, okay, so we own this one, we own this one, we don't own that one, we own this one, we own this one, and some of them started to get slightly de-indexed because we were switching them from one server to another, and they were down for a while. But once again, this is a perfect example of the local. Online reputation management. How much is an online reputation management company willing to pay for a freaking lead? I actually know, because we do online reputation management. And, we charge most of our customers, usually somewhere in the neighborhood of an online reputation management, it's usually about $2,500 and up, thereabouts, and that's it, so, and that's per month. And there's usually some sort of a startup cost and everything else. So there's a lot of money to be made. So, once again, it's just one of the simplest processes in the world. And as I told you, we offer three things. So one is these mass sites. The other one is that we will actually do SEO right on their website themselves, pushing up them in the search rankings. So long-tail keywords and geo-targeted, there's an example, okay? I know you guys are tired of seeing the pin example, so. Okay, proper foundation of a group. HAL0WEEN.com. So let's get into what, this is really, really important because we only touched on this the last webinar.
There's not much to say about it. It's
here, you guys, open up a browser.
Yeah. All right.
Open up a browser, and I'm just going to show you, right? So I use the example all the time of my pin business, right? So here, you can see what a group looks like. So go to your browser, because it's going to look slightly different for you in your IP location as it's going to look for me. So go to your browser, type in custom lapel pins, the pin people. Okay? You're going to see that we have the authority, I got the authority up here on that one. I got my BBB. I got, a LinkedIn. There's a Wikipedia page, my Facebook, my Google Plus page. So all of these are parts of your group, all right? And I can continue on to pay
for this term.
My group for the
there's two groups. There's your group that's always associated with your site, and then there's the further abstracted group that's only associated with your site when the user is searching for this specific keyword.
Correct.
So, if you're making a post on one of your social media networks that links back to your site, but it also contains some content, it's not just a blank backlink, it's inside some quote or something related to your content on site, then you're actually going to have two backlinks that are counting both in equal or greater strength than each other, pushing towards your site from the same social network. And they're not, but if somebody just searches the pin people, that won't have as much an effect.
Correct. Correct. So you're looking here, and we got a SlideShare, our Manta, Yellow Pages, Twitter, and these are all part of our group, right? I mean, our Facebook page isn't exploding. Everybody's like, you need shitloads of engagement for it to get. No, you don't. It needs to exist. There needs to be some engagement. There needs to be some content there, and that's really about it. All right. But what you want to do is you want to get a really nice spread. So, and you can also see that there are certain keywords that give you certain information, and there's certain keywords that will give you something else. So if you type in just lapel pins, the pin people, you'll actually see that this was more of what happened with the pigeon update. So we don't have the breakout anymore, and it's just giving multiple, URLs within the SERP. You will then see eventually the Facebook page and the Better Business Bureau, link and everything else. And this even changed since you guys checked it last week, because I think we were at 7 now, or we were at 6. Where we're showing, and these are the little minor things that we're seeing in the SERPs.
Yep. So maybe you guys searching it triggered their rank transition algorithm, and now they're just screwing with us. It's very possible.
Well, and the one thing I can tell you is this, right? So this URL, this search function didn't pop the
box.
Didn't pop the authority box, right? Yep. And it didn't make it a 7 search. It made it a 10 search.
It's because you don't have a lot of posts just saying the lapel pins with nice meaty content about the lapel pins, but you do for custom lapel pins.
Correct. So obviously that tells me, once again, there needs to be something that's going to shift a little bit. All right. And what you can do is you can actually go to HAL0WEEN.com. If you have a VA, it's great to do this. Let's just do here. All right. I'm going to throw a plug in here for Justin Kunst. Okay. For those of you guys that don't know Justin, we're going to talk about him in a little bit. Justin's a great SEO, knows his stuff. I'm going to look in here, and I'm going to look at all the different popular social networks, so I can go here and check a bunch of these. Foursquare, Blogger, Dailymotion, Delicious, Flickr, all this sort of stuff, okay? Now, I can check over 500 more. For blogging, I would go in there, grab as many of them as I can. Bookmarking, Bitly, shit like that. Business, once again, great. Jump in there, create your profile. Your profile should be somewhat as complete as humanly possible. Put in your hours, if they're asking for hours, put in your data. This is the core of your group, the foundation of your core. You're going to want to do this. Google is looking at the group. It wants to see what sites, what social media sites, and I say social media, but it doesn't necessarily have to be social media sites, but that's part of that group. Because I can tell you, a spam website is not going to go out there and they're not creating a group foundation, all right? It's a site it's a Lone Ranger site out there ranking by itself. If you have the group, you're solidifying yourself. Okay?
So right now, as it stands, you could go through and click each one individually,
right.
Or you could pay them, was it $300 every time you want to do a new one of these types of...
Yep. Or what you could do is you could go out and buy something like RoboForm, or there's a couple of free
Justin
ones.
Kuntz is actually writing his own to do it right now.
So, there you go.
So that's pretty freaking cool. Yeah.
So basically, I mean, like I said, you could also use, guys, definitely hook up with Justin, and we'll talk more about Justin in a couple minutes. Anything that's like a RoboForm that fills out a form, you fill out as much information as possible, and when you go to one of these sign-up pages, it will fill out as much information as you can, and then you move on.
Yeah, and Darren, to answer your question, you don't use your own name or a pen name. You use your client's name or your own
actual
business,
and the business name.
It should be
relatively legit. Okay, so schema markup. I'm not going to get heavy into schema markup. Go to schema.org or check the training, our past training on schema, and that will explain a lot more of it. All right? But you got to use it. Backlinks with user flow. User juice, right? So what are we talking about, right? And we only brought this up not that long ago. Yep. So basically, you got to up your backlink game. Find backlinks with user funnels. Yes, actual users, trusted sites, less about PR, more about user flow. Now, this is what I can tell you. And this is the part that's killing me when I was getting those emails. So I can either now take my PBNs that really weren't doing anything for me as my sites were, as I was watching my main money site drop, and I can try and basically reinvent all of those, yep, which is going to take me forever, or I can find a better way.
Well, you're waiting for the link juice to magically fix your orphan site. Okay, so let's say it takes 3 months, 4 months, and the 25% chance that it actually does come back, and I'm just throwing that out there. I haven't seen one come back yet in our testing. But the magic, like if one does come back, you're now going to wait another 3-4 months for that link juice to reach your target site.
Yep.
So you're waiting 6 months, 7 months. I think Google's going to have another algorithm update up their sleeve by that point.
Okay, dude, where are some of the backlink sources then? Okay, what we're finding working, I mean solidly working, okay? There are news websites out there, and because they really can't afford to have reporters out there, they have what they call stringer reporters, okay? And a stringer reporter basically is like a freelancer that doesn't really get paid. Maybe some stringer reporters do, I don't know, but, they're looking for content. They're looking for news. Now, you can't sign up to these websites and try and push out something that looks like a press release. You can't sign up to one of these websites, become a reporter, and throw out an article that you freaking pulled out of your ass off an article directory or whatever else. That's not going to cut it. This shit has to look like news. Now, if you're not sure what's going to pass muster and what's not, then just look at some of the other articles on the page. I mean, pretty simple, okay? So, these websites, All Voices, Ground Report, Now Public, Brouhaha. Hold on one second.
It's Halloween.
No. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get you.
What are you trying to get to, man?
I want to be able to copy these.
Yeah, well...
I'm not going to be able to. All right.
Well, you could just use OK Google and just go OK Google, All Voices. Oh, well, no, we can't because the microphone's being taken up.
Yep. So, All Voices, or you can do a search for allvoices.com, alternative sites, and you're going to start picking up all of these. We'll get these posted on the site and everything else, so you guys have them.
But
all right.
If you push print screen right now, you could quickly.
Yeah, or for those of you that aren't recording, just push
print screen.
Print screen.
Whatever your capture program of choice is. Yeah.
All right, so, guys, once again, this is only a handful of them. And this is the reason why we're suggesting this, right? So you can spend all this time and money and everything else coming up with your private blog network that eventually is going to get hit because you do something stupid, okay? Now, these sites are not going to get hit. They're trusted. The link flow is going to, the link juice already has user flow. It already has, all sorts of user flow and metrics and everything else coming through the site. So these are trusted, guys. Just don't screw it up when you sign up to be a reporter.
Yep. All right, you want me to go to the next slide? I was just
Yep, go ahead.
Oh, somebody, Darren typed them all out. Darren, you're freaking awesome. Thank you. I will copy your question and paste it for everybody to see. And Andrew's must have gotten a really important text message.
Yeah, I did.
He's typing away here.
Okay.
Copy email address, copy question. It doesn't let me.
I think it's looking at it as an email address, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so you want to go on the next slide, and I will do this.
All right. So those were the elements of the shit that's working, guys, and it's not really hard. You don't have to overthink it, okay? It's some of the basic shit, but it's schema. You got to look at your backlinks if there's no users coming through. So somebody actually mentioned before, they said, well, how do I know if my PBN is not working? If you have no users going through your PBN, okay, and you don't have to worry about putting analytics on your PBNs, look at the analytics of your main website, okay? If you don't see any refers coming from these, from your PBNs, the shit's dead, all right? That's why press releases are working so well right now with a good distribution of a press release, because it's doing basically the same thing as, these websites that we just gave you. It's the same concept. It's the same mentality. But why go out there and wind up having to create your own PBN? I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a PBN, but if it's not bringing any actual visitors through and there's no user flow, then the site is just dead.
Yep.
So, I would rather get a site that has users coming through it, that's a PR1, than a PR5 that has absolutely zero users coming to it at all. Period, the end.
Yep.
It's that simple. So it's Halloween. All right, we're gonna just transition here because I'm sure that there are questions and we've been freaking going on for quite some time. So it's Halloween. Want to know the scariest thing of all?
What's that?
Well, for me, it's midget clowns and bobbleheads. Okay, scariest freaking thing in my life, right? So I was a cop. I was a former Marine, and fucking midget clowns and fucking bobbleheads scared the shit out of me.
Did your kids buy you a bunch of bobbleheads?
Yeah, they did. They put them right on my fucking desk when you were at my house. You see them.
Yep.
So, yeah, you're spending thousands of dollars a year.
For those too.
I don't know why.
I don't know.
You'd have to look at the metrics.
Yep.
But like I said,
I mean, if you have a client that's paying you well more than you're spending, I wouldn't recommend just removing them so you could recoup that couple $1,000s you're spending, because once you change the backlink profile substantially, then that's going to raise up a flag. So, as of right now, if it's working, then you're kind of stuck with it, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so for me, that's what scares the shit out of me. All right, for Google, and once again, this is not a pitch. I'm going to let Jake talk about this real fast.
Yep. No, Steve, I meant it's not clickable. Like, you can't click the link and then go to the website. That's why I pasted, or you can't copy and text. You're still going to have to type it out manually. That's why I just copied and pasted the text from Darren. Anyway.
All right, so for Google, here, Jake, go ahead. I'll give you the honors.
So for Google, it is, we develop or have been developing for quite some time, as some of you are aware, and have poked around and broken it. Thank you for that. The SerpSpike platform, which is our rebranding. Some of you have been calling it like SERP Landlord V2. What is it? SERP Landlord Beta. This is the official name. It's SerpSpike, guys. You can go to SerpSpike.com, and if you put your email in on that list, if you haven't already been confirmed by Ben, then you are not on that list, and we highly recommend you putting yourself on the list, because that's the only way you're going to be able to receive. Let me preface this by saying if you've already gone through our pre-sign-up processes for the Alpha V1, then you are already on this list, and you don't need to.
Yeah, you guys put a support ticket in a while back.
Yeah,
and
we got you. Don't worry about it. But this is for all those new people out there, and people who haven't really looked at this before. If you put in your email to that list, we're going to be considering anybody. We're cross-referencing that list with Seme Premium Plus members, and we'll be selecting people from that to do our second Alpha later this week, and then our beta next week, and then should be good for launch at that point.
Absolutely.
Better be good for launch.
You guys got it. I mean, honestly, it is just, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. And you know what? I wanted to throw this out real fast. We've been listening to everybody that had issues or wanted to see something new or something different. you know, right now I think we have site builds that are just like tremendous, but we have the US, we have the UK, we have, where else? Spain. Do you remember all the locations, Jake?
Yeah, I actually have a list from our conversation yesterday. Okay, so the ones that we have in the system right now, we have state sites, 30,000 post national site, or 30,000 location national site, and 180,000 location national site. We got a UK package, a Canada package, a Spain package, an Australia package, a Mexico package, and an individual Estado package for individual
for
Mexican.
Mexico.
Yep.
But now, if there's
states,
if there's anything, if there's an area that we didn't mention there that you wanted to target, just you can pop it into the chat here just to let us know, because this is at the point where we want to make sure that if anybody has an area that we can you know, accommodate.
Sorry for my fast typing there.
Okay. France. We actually we put France on the list.
Yeah. Why? How did we miss France? Oh, is it already on our? No.
No, we just didn't load it up in the back.
Okay. We have it downloaded though. I know I have it. It's in my downloads folder.
Okay.
France. Anything else? We've mentioned most of the sites people will be targeting. Or you just think like maybe.
How do we get on the list? If you want, you can go to ServSpike. You can just put in your email address or send Ben in a support ticket.
ServSpike.com right now. It should send everybody out. We'll send it all. Yep, ServSpike.com will send everybody out to the launch page where they could sign up for information.
If you really want Liberia, we could see.
Yeah,
all Euro would be. We have all Euro.
Yep, we got the UK package, but I think Spain's included.
Yeah, like if you guys want to see like
a UK plus Spain.
Yeah, we have like Ireland, Germany, all sorts of other ones. Yeah.
Yep, we could really do any location you guys want, but you know, there has to be substantial demand, otherwise it's not worth it to our developer team and, you know, ourselves. There's more options and more settings, more, you know, more configuration, more coding, my favorite thing in the world.
Somebody wrote Liberia, is it too soon? No, definitely not. I mean, you know, we could probably do a site for Ebola if somebody really wanted to. They just, after they view the site, they got to stay inside for 21 days. Like that. So, okay, so yeah, these sites can be used for everything. Affiliate marketing, AdSense, it can be used for you name it. They just crush it. So
it's just spinning and spinning. I think that might have happened when I put up the Cloudflare Pro account. So let me double check that, and it might be that your email's already on the list, and I just didn't, you know, I didn't put in the proper error handling, and that's always a valid error. I don't know.
Somebody's saying it worked fine.
It worked fine for them? Okay, it might just be on your side. Maybe if you have SemEasy open and a lot of tabs, or if you have a lot of tabs open, your browsers are limited to like 12 concurrent AJAX sessions in Firefox, and it's like 18 in Chrome. I think maybe only like 8 in Safari, and Internet Explorer is pretty low. I think we got it. Both swatting out a fly there. But yeah, so if you have a lot of tabs open, and especially if you're connected to SemEasy in a lot of tabs, because each one of those tabs is going to try to open up the chat module, which in and of itself is its own AJAX, you know, function, then it's, or AJAX session, I should say, then it's not going to be able to connect to the AJAX post and receive the response from the Cloudflare server. I don't even know if it sends it out in the first place. So just open it up in a different browser or an incognito window and close out the rest of your other windows and stuff.
All right, so we're going to continue moving here.
Cross-browser issue, that's interesting. Does it work, same domain? Say beta, like when you're in alpha and beta, all this stuff creeps up on you, because we spent so long developing all of the, you know, the back-end core of this stuff that actually builds it up, and then we didn't, you know, we spent a lot of time building up the front end, which has in and of itself a back-end, and then we thought it was pretty much set to go, and then there's some concerns that, well, a few concerns that we had, but our users highlighted them quite vividly. So we're working on all that.
ServSpike is working.
No, it's not that. It's the get notified. They said it's having an error. So try it. Not that email. Just
error.
Jake. Now you'll have my private email address. Congratulations to SemEasy members. You should have already had it. It's not private. Nope, it worked here, so I don't know why. And we're streaming out right now, so yeah, be sure to respond to the email that you get, by the way, the final welcome email, for your chance to win 1 free month of ServSpike credits And that's a little hint at what we're going to be bringing to the table really, really soon.
Okay, so mastermind groups.
Justin is the man. Here's a question. Justin, we've been talking a lot about this back and forth. Do you have a microphone and maybe headphones, and you could talk about it a little bit? I do, with an exclamation. All right. Cool. So, Justin, if you want to take the stage, if you got some stuff prepared, I know you definitely have stuff to talk about, but I don't know if you're prepared to do it right now in front of everybody. This is part of that, the improvised step. All right. Yep. All right. So just let me know when you're ready. I'm going to add you into the staff queue here. Get a quick promotion from premium member to staff member.
And if you want to go to the next slide here real fast, they can see the link.
Okay. All right. So that's the link for signing up for the application. Really, what are we calling it for the different mastermind groups? Yep. And I just got to find Justin's name here. All right. Make a panelist. Yes. All right. Now you should have access to the audio queue or the audio stream. Yep. Awesome. I could hear you, which means everybody else could hear you. Let me lower. I'm going to mute myself, actually, so we don't make some nasty echo here. And feel free to take the stage, man. Nope. Say in 1 second. So I'll hold the floor for a little bit more. Just send in a message when you're ready. Probably grab in a mic or some headphones. Not a big deal at all. Is he shy? I don't think so. Justin's a really cool guy. He's got a lot of great insight and a lot of experience. There's a lot of people on SEMeasy who have a lot of great insight and great experience, but I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, if you've been around the site enough, you should know Justin. He's got a good personality, and I see his mic's on here, so I'm going to stop talking about him and let him talk about himself and what we're doing. So,
can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
1, 2, 3.
I hear you just fine, so I'm going to mute myself now, and you can take the floor. Can you not see?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'd actually like to turn on my video camera, too. Can I do that as well?
Oh, yeah. Let me see. I think I just have to send a request out to you. And maybe I got to make you an organizer here, which is not a problem. Just don't kick me off. It's not letting me send a webcam request up to you.
Yep, tell it to share. And, okay, well, that's okay. We can just go with audio.
Yep, that's all right.
Cool.
And as long as it's on my end, I'll keep the mic on so we could have a little dialogue, too.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Jake. Thank you guys very much, Andrew. And thank you, our community, SEMeasy community.
Oh, we got a webcam up. You're on there now? Yep, we got a live feed right here. Awesome. Green screen too. Beautiful.
Yeah, isn't that neat? This is actually something I put together from Walmart, and it's like.
That's cool. I think it's like a perfect cross between a green screen and a blue screen. That's really cool. It would probably actually work really well, not with your shirt that you're wearing, but it would work well. So go ahead. I don't mean to keep cutting you off.
Oh no, that's great. Yeah, little bit impromptu, but this is great. But basically, what we have coming up is a mastermind group. Really, two different groups. One is going to be the open training group, and the other is going to be a elite mastermind group. Now, basically they're two very similar things, but the open training is going to be more for people who are like beginner and intermediates with their SEO business. And what we're going to do is cover in that group, more of the questions that center around maybe just the on-page optimization, the schema, just ranking those sites, maybe those beginning steps of getting clients, or once you have clients, how to make sure that the clients are happy and they keep writing those checks to you, right? Now, the more advanced elite group, that's going to be for people who already have, relatively successful SEO businesses. Maybe they've been doing it for a couple of years, and maybe they have a couple outsourcers that work for them, or even their own office space. But basically, this what we call, the elite group, which is just the first, word that we came up with. What this is for is, first and foremost, testing new and really cutting-edge SEO techniques. Because one thing that is definitely, I guess, we're stressed by Andrew and everyone at SemeEasy is that the information that's put out to the group, to the community, is time-tested and works. No theory, no hearsay, or no ducks. Ducks just quacking it. We want real stuff that works and is verified. So this elite group, we're going to be testing these techniques and really hammering them out and then releasing them to the community. But a step above that, this is going to be a great place to be able to mastermind with other people who have successful SEO businesses and can share some really high-level, business techniques for expanding, automating, and taking your business to the next level. So that's just the big overview right there, Jake.
Awesome. It's self-evident that you've either have a teleprompter in front of you or you've been thinking about this long and hard for quite some time, because that was complete.
All up here.
All up there. Justin is heading this stuff up, and he will be sort of the liaison, so to say, between any of your mastermind-esque concerns, and he's really going to head off, and he's taking a lot on. It's really, really cool of him. We're going to get some really great feedback and content and learn a lot with each other. And Justin, we were talking a bit, or I know you and Andy were talking about it specifically, the using the group as itself as sort of a catalyst to research. Being able to spread out, because we only have X number of days, X number of hours in the day to start, let alone X number of hours a day to not dedicate to our clients, but to dedicate to trying to figure out what the future will hold for the client with something that doesn't even, it's not giving me the money to pay my rent right now, but, so what are we planning on doing?
Okay, as in what specifically?
No, just on the general terms, like how we're going to utilize the group as for, doing research in relation to the SEO itself.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I mean, basically everybody's going to be able to bring to the group different ideas, different techniques. I know that I have techniques for my clients that I don't share with my local, SEO buddies here, but I will be putting into the group, and vice versa, what everyone else is bringing into the group as well. As well as, there's been some things that you guys have, gave me feedback on that we really want to test out, ahead of time. So I mean, I don't really have any one specific thing in my head right now as a one technique, but as an example, what was just put out on this webinar with the news, independent news sites. I mean, that is gold, and that's something that no other company out there, no other training group out there is putting out, but is like golden nuggets. So we really want to find some more of these golden nuggets, and then be able to take them, put them into some easy step-by-step kind of trainings for the whole community to be able to use.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly what we're doing. We're prospecting and mining and using everybody in the group to go find those little golden nuggets, as you so describe them, and turn them into some easy steps or SemeEasy steps, as Andrew and I were.
SemeEasy steps. I like that. That should be the training.
And Justin and I actually talked. We're going to be touching on a lot of different things. So like if you're into affiliate marketing, or if you're into AdSense, or if you're into client SEO, or whatever the case may be, we're going to basically run the gamut. But a lot of it, like I said, one portion is going to be like hardcore research. Everybody's going to have basically look at it as, look guys, this is what we're working on right now. And when we meet again, everybody's going to have a little part that they got to go out there and get done, and so they can bring it back, and then we can share what we all have together. Mm-hmm. And there is a lot of really cool stuff that that I would love to release, but we just have not tested it enough for me to feel comfortable releasing it yet. Justin and I have spoken about some of it, and Justin has a really good handle on things. I mean, Justin usually, he'll grab a little something of what I say and bring it to the nth degree because he just can see well beyond what I'm even talking about as we're talking. And I mean, Justin, you're already seeing some of this stuff working, I know.
So when we say, sorry to
we start testing it.
Yep, I'm sorry to cut you off, but when we say research, we don't mean like strictly going to Google and doing just straight keyword research or doing competition research or going into the, I mean, depending on the level and, you know, what your specific skill strengths are, you might be assigned the task of going in and seeing, you know, does this site have schema versus this site and where is it ranking for this term and does that term have local or not? But you might be given a completely different task based off your background. Maybe it's accessibility of individual websites, positioning of the layout for optimal conversions, stuff like that. All of us have different skills because, like I was saying, we have limited time in the day, but we have a network, and with this mastermind group, now we're really going to have niche down, ultra highly devoted people working inside these networks to help each other, and it's really, really cool. And it's not going to be any extra cost to Seme. It's just going to fold right in with the Premium Plus membership you already have. So it's, you know, we're not charging you anything extra for this. This is going to be open to everybody, and I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, it is. It's very exciting, and this I see being able to deliver as much value to you as the community and us as the community, as you know, far beyond what you can get in any forums or any other training group.
Yep, it's going to be great. I really can't wait. You know, I got to do some front-end user interface stuff. It's going to get really cool. Your profiles are going to get tweaked out really, really, really hardcore over the next couple weeks as we integrate these features and we integrate some of the SERP spike stuff coming back to Seme. It's going to be fun.
It doesn't really get any more cutting edge than this, though, guys, because honestly, before, you know,
before we launch anything, we have to test it, right?
And before, you know, some of the stuff that we put out there, and I would, you know, I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but we definitely talk about things that people don't talk about at all when it came to like Cloudflare, came to all these different things, right? Some of that conversation hasn't even made it into other forums and other places yet. This is the stuff before that.
Yep.
You know,
and we were doing now. If we had the Seme SEO group, we could have introduced that, or the mastermind group, we could have introduced our Cloudflare techniques to our higher development.
And we would have.
And we would have, absolutely, because do you know how many hours of testing Andrew and myself had to do personally to make sure that everything was good across the board? For, you know, literally everything we produce has to go through rigorous testing time and time again. That's why updates are so hard to develop, because you never want to push an update out that destroys some previous functionality or just doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It's, you know, it's hard to update existing code because you got that little mental barrier. Well, it's working. Let's not add new features. Let's just leave it. We'll create a new project and work on that instead. But this is going to be that testing ground where we don't need to worry about that so much, and we can push out updates a lot faster. We could do so much cool stuff, and you guys are really going to get you're going to get not even binoculars. You're going to get a front row seat to the cutting edge of SEO. So it's awesome.
And not even just the information, because obviously it's but it's also how that you become a better SEO by learning how to go ahead and do research, and it's only going to help you on every single aspect of everything.
Yep, it's like taking all the benefits of the forum and the chat module and putting them right into your ear almost.
Yep.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely.
So no upsell, no anything. This is just something that we thought would be actually. Justin was the one that actually came up with this, and Justin was the one that was like, "Listen, man, this would do freaking awesome things for the community." And even though we thought so too, I was sort of like, man, I'm like, we're kind of strapped. And Justin was like, no, man, I'll spearhead it, and yeah, it's going to be wild.
I mean, honestly, I've been wanting to do something like this, but I don't have the community, right? So you guys provide the community. I'll be more than happy to jump in and provide the momentum, into it. So it's actually a really big honor to me to be able to serve everybody in this function.
Well, it's awesome, and we're, like Andrew said, we're super excited to have you on board here. I was quite surprised, not from your initial email, but from the conversation I was having with Andrew, where he was like, "Yeah, he's he's got these really, really awesome ideas, because I didn't know you from, say, any other member on the site at that point in time, because, Andrew takes the front end seat and Ben's now in front of the house with support, but well, I'm coding all out the Surf Spike stuff. I got to take a back end seat, so I didn't really see all the interactions in the forum going on, and I didn't really know you, but I saw what you had drafted up and proposed, and then after your count back and forth with Andrew, what you guys were coming up with together, was like, this is absolutely something that needs to be done, because if this guy's going to be heading it, and these are the ideas he's come up with already just for the group alone, imagine what it's going to be like when he has his own group that he's sculpting and shaping, and then those groups have their own connections, and they're also linking, and then it takes some time away from the arduous, research, and makes that process a hell of a lot faster. Faster, exactly. That's what it's going to be. Everything's going to be faster. It's going to be really, really cool. Now we're beating a dead horse with pretty adjectives. Yep. Okay,
I think we're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good. All right. I don't want to cut you off. If you have anything else to say, feel free to say it now. It's an open floor. But
everybody be sure to check out that form and go into the forum and post up the type of stuff that you want to see in the trainings as well. I already started getting some great feedback. Definitely get in there, post up what you want to see, and if you are interested in the Elite Mastermind, check out that little form to fill in some basic information. That's all it is, and you can definitely hit me up on a PM and in the chat, anytime. So thank you guys very much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Justin. And like I said, anybody who has an issue with the form is just your basic information, and just to get an idea of where you kind of sit. We have people in all different levels here. So. All right.
All right. I guess next slide.
Questions.
We're at that point of the webinar, as if we weren't answering them the entire time. We're now at 4:10. This 2-hour webinar, right? We said we weren't going to do this. We said this in the parking lot. This was going to be a 30-minute what did we say? If we were to reach 2 hours with this slideshow, then we calculated it out. It was like way too much time. We talk way too much.
I talk way too much.
But it's entertaining because nobody dropped out. Holy crap. Okay, two people dropped out, but I think one of them was Ben. So we lost one person that entire 2 hours. That's insane. Must have been somewhat entertaining. We should get contracts with Sirius Radio, man.
Yeah, I don't
Sirius
think so.
XM.
I don't think anybody's going to listen. I know I wouldn't. Shit.
No, we had a ton of people stay in. That's crazy. I think our stories are boring, but I just think I'm boring in and of myself. But you guys don't. Andrew doesn't, as we heard earlier on. So I am recording and going to be recording here till the end. Thank you, G-Murdy, because GoToWebinar, we found out during one of our tests, doesn't actually record the video webcam stream, which is one of the reasons we don't normally do it. And Justin, you sort of showed us up there with your professionalism. And I didn't mean to boot you straight out of the staff queue, but it had to get you back into the normal queue there and make sure everything was good and straight to go. So you are the click and clack of SEO. Yeah.
Isn't that what I told you a week ago?
I don't know.
That's the Car Talk guys.
Oh, yeah. That you did. NPR guys, I remember that. Yeah, the click and clack of SEO. I like that. So NPR maybe has a negative a boring connotation with some people. But
they talk cool stuff.
But I will guarantee you that this was the most boring conversations to anybody who's not in this business or this field. Has absolutely zero relevancy to their entire life, and they will not like it. But if if this information pertains to you or your business, then it's vital, in my opinion, at least for us, because it's what we're doing. Are you talking about the car guys? No, we weren't talking about anybody right down in there. The car guys, click and clack. Yes, from
Car
yeah, from Car Talk, exactly. I always love it. My wife has no idea how to discuss this. Yeah.
My wife has stopped talking to me about it completely.
Yep. My friends aren't programmers, so I can't talk to them about that. And then none of them are SEOs either, except for, I guess, my SEO friends here, Seme Easy. And it's always great to pop into the chat here and talk with you guys. So love being able to do it, and that's probably why these webinars drag on for so long, because subconsciously we know that we're not going to get another opportunity for another few days to discuss it so in depth, our SEO tactics and techniques. So people are posting they would like to discuss local/state clients soon. Awesome. Yeah, if you're I don't know about Andrew, but I know that there's people who aren't interested in any of your SEO dealings, don't want to hear anything about it until you've got the prospect of a client on the table, and then their ears wide open and they'll listen for days, and let alone actually having a client in your pocket, then maybe you get their ears for life. What's your experience on that? After a while, it just gets boring. You're married. I'm not. So
no, listen. My wife is just like, oh, that's great. Wonderful. So anyway, this is what's going on. You know what I mean?
The kids are doing well in school.
Yeah. So that's that's why we started the community, so I could.
So you could all that pent up SEO talk. It was either Seme or.
Yeah, she calls it geek porn.
Semi-easy or divorce settlement.
She actually refers to it as geek porn. She goes, listen, I'm not going to talk geek porn with you.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure how you use Knowem for proper foundation group. All right, so basically what we do is we go to knowem.com. We'll pull open a little private browser here.
Yep.
So we go to knowem.com, and we're going to type in, for instance, I don't know, type in...
my brand is, we make poopsicles. They're actually popsicles, but they're brown. They don't taste like poop. They taste like chocolate. Kids love them, especially for Halloween.
Absolutely. So what's going to happen is we're going to put our brand name in here.
Okay. It looks like I could get Poopsicle on Facebook.
Yeah, you could.
It's actually pretty
Then click on the check over 500 more.
All right, okay. Let's see.
All right, so what it's going to do now is, let's say, scroll down to, let's say, business.
Okay.
All right, and then click on check this category. It's going to take Poopsicle. It's going to check it against all these different businesses, and it's going to tell you whether or not that name is available. If the name is available, you click on where it says or you click on
where it says available. Take you to the sign up page.
Brings you to the sign up page. You're going to sign up.
As your business.
As your business. And
so as the owner of Poopsicle Incorporated, I am certified. My first name is Doctor, and I'm Dr. Poop. And I am info@poopsicle.com, and my username is going to be Poopsicle. Super simple.
Your username really should be the exact name of your business?
Yeah, so if it's like Poopsicle... And they usually don't allow spaces or whatever else, so... Yeah, so maybe it might be Poopsicle Ice Cream.
A lot of times it won't let you go more than a...
So Poopsicle Ice Cream Inc. Something like that. And what this is doing, Google's going to see this. They're going to see your public profile, which is on a high-ranking page that has authority and has a already established user flow.
And then once you get in there, it's going to ask you for all of your business information. It's going to ask you to fill out your profile. You're going to be really complete. And, you can go ahead and try and get active on some of these. You can grab a nice article about your site, spin it out. You can post it on some of these. But what it's doing is that because these are authoritative sites, and now in that profile there's a link going back to your website, okay, which is usually like a naked URL, but it doesn't really matter, okay. It's the fact that they're seeing. Part about it is that oftentimes within these social profiles and stuff like that, they'll throw you up there, and a couple of people will come through the site to your website because of the fact that, it announces you as a new member or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
But the point is that, like I said, you want to create that foundation group.
Yep, and let's clear up some confusion here. They're looking at the user flow across the entire network for that backlink. They're not looking. It's important, the user flow that's going straight to your site, of course, but unless you have AdWords or the person's using some crappy version of Chrome that doesn't have privacy enabled, then there's no way for Google to know that you went from profile pond to your target site. They just see the backlink, and they see that profile pond has, you go check out the Alexa rank.
It's a trusted site. It's an authoritative site. Boom.
It's got this many monthly users. These people use it, and it's an authority. You're now, you're building up your authority. didn't miss anything there, Tim. You got it all on your own. So essentially, if you got a PBN set up somewhere with some domain that's not, you don't even have, maybe you don't even have like a place for users to log in or anything. There's literally no social engagement on the site. There's no user flow. You just got some articles up there. It probably hasn't been updated in,
long time. And there's a little link in the middle of the article going back to your website. Nobody's ever clicked on it. Nobody's showing up to your website. The shit's dead.
Yep. Your backlink profile hasn't changed, not on your backlinks from your money site, but they haven't even changed on the backlinks from your PBN. So, which is just completely unnatural. It should be growing over time, or depending on whatever rut you're in.
But the point is, it's like kind of like once you've hit that rut, then it's not worth trying to force that WordPress, that domain that you own.
It's best to
try and make it work. It's best to adapt and say, okay, you know what? I need to start getting some user flow through to the site.
Yep. Can we type in the URL for knowem.com? knowem.com, and we'll send this to everybody. All right. This is why content scraping / posting works. You grab big time flow. Yep. I mean, that's what we're trying to do here.
Sure.
We're grabbing big time flow with a really, really big net, and the more we could point at it from these authority sites.
And fuck it, if we grab a dolphin or two, fuck it, we'll throw it into the tuna can.
FDA's not checking here. What about using Knowem type sites for landlord sites to add quality links to the posts?
I'm going to be honest with you.
It's not so important on the reverse end. It's more important the backlink profile, not the outlink profile, so to say.
And not only that, but I mean, honestly, we build these landlord sites that I buy a domain for $10, I push out the site, and I try not to. I spend more time pushing out another site and pushing out another site and pushing out another site, rather than spending $200 on AdWords. I built out 10. I built out 10 domains, trying to grab as much of that SERP as I possibly can on the geo-targeted keywords, and I move on with life.
Yep. I mean, it's really that simple. And to Joe, your question of so you don't use the PBN anymore? The answer is no.
I mean, we still have some that we still have some
blogs. Are we talking a landlord, or are we talking about
for landlord
SEO?
No, for landlord we don't do anything.
Yeah, for SERP Spike we don't do any backlinks.
For client SEO, yeah, we still have PBNs. Don't get me wrong, but all of those PBNs that we've wound up keeping all have user flow metrics. We've actually designed them all to rank independently and to pull traffic in themselves.
So it's the P in our PBN stands for almost public rather than private.
No, because we're not sharing our network with anybody else.
I know, but it's not private in the sense of our PBN sites hiding out from Google. It's actually ranking for the content and stuff that's on there itself. So do you build it as a money site then? Well, that's the ultimate objective with any PBN that you're putting out there. You're building it to trick Google, so it has to be able to trick
So yeah, you're trying to rank it as you would a money site, but for instance, the keywords might not be as competitive.
Correct.
So for instance, if I was trying to build out sites for SEO, right? I might try and build out a website for, might try and target something, let's say local marketing campaigns, or I could go after a city plus SEO that's not that difficult. Because now at least it's going to be getting some traffic.
Yep.
And I put a big fucking button in there that says, hey, want some more information? They click on it, fucking sends them right over to my money site.
Yep. And that's pretty much the best way to build it up. I mean, that's how we've been doing it for the, I don't know, I remember back when I wasn't even working for you yet. To loop this full circle back to the beginning of our conversation here, Andrew was describing to me link pyramids way back.
Oh, because link pyramids work like a charm.
And this is back when I was 15 and I'm
link
22.
wheels, link pyramids.
7 years and this stuff's still around. Andrew was teaching me this 7 years ago before I knew anything. So, before I knew anything, really. I see. True Marketing Strategies, nice to see you here, is asking, I have a client who wants to rank for high-end luxury properties for sale in a major city. The competition on page 1 has 27,000 to 300,000 index pages, so they are very large sites. What's the best way to even get to page 1, never mind move to the top of page 1, about 4,000 per month budget, thanks. Well, to sort of give you an edge up on your competition there, what they got? They got 27,000 to 300,000 index pages. It sounds like a landlord site from Landlord V1 is about 30,000 posts, and it has a total reach across all the tags of the 8, 16, 24, it's 9, 9, it's 27, so 270,000 posts. So that fits right in your range very nicely. Our new system here, we do still have those packages for, in the new SERP Spike system, we have the 30K national package, but we also have a 180K package for the locales alone, and then you multiply that by 9 total for all your different tags and then your posts originally. So you actually have over 1 million pages to be indexed on your site.
1.6.
1.6 million, so over 1.5 million unique URLs per site. Yeah, so hopefully the cost on that is nowhere near $4,000 a month. You're not even going to spend $4,000 with us in 3 months at the highest tier we have, 4 months at the highest tier we have for the SERP Spike platform. And by that point, you will have enough for about 5 or 6 of those sites. So, yeah, it's really cool.
There's actually other things that you can do as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Tons of different things.
Yep. Are you getting a new site every month with SERP Spike? Yes, you will be. It's going to be
sometimes even 2.
Yep. Sometimes
3.
even 2 or 3, depending on where you're at in the system. What membership you're under. So I guess you guys are all premium members. We could let you know what we're doing here. We're going to have a standard account, gold account, and platinum accounts. What are we doing here? Yeah, we're still in the alpha phase, so some things are going to move around, so we're not going to give any hard metrics right now. But we do have the standard, the gold, and the platinum accounts. Each of them have their own legacy reward program. They all upgrade eventually into free SEMeasy memberships, special access direct into our elite mastermind groups, as well as special access to mastermind groups specifically for people in your membership level who have achieved their legacy member status. You're going to be, each site is a one-off, transaction for the generation process itself, and then we do provide hosting as well, and then depending on which level you're at, it'll either be free or just one of our tokens per month. That's pretty much, or we call them spikes. Let's say that. Okay, so can we get pricing on the levels? I mean,
I'd rather give it another day or two just because we
might fluctuate. There's some really cool stuff added in. I mean, I could go over some of the features. Pretty much the scaling on the value of the coins goes, value of the spikes as we currently have it is going down each time you upgrade. So you'll eventually be saving $250 right now as we have it per spike at the platinum level, as opposed to saving $0 at the standard level. And then the range of prices is well under $1,000.
ranges anywhere from 200 to under 1,000.
Yeah, 200 to under 1,000 is the range.
And it all depends on what you want to do and
exactly
what you're looking to do.
You're going to have access to page builders at the platinum
But it's
level. I know.
really flexible. Whatever
it's ridiculous.
Whatever you want to do, however you want to do it, it's pretty flexible.
And we're spanning now across 7 countries, and we're going to be including France for the 8th. And then anything else you guys want, we'll be able to do. Do we own the domains? We have that as a
There's an option
as
there
an
if you wanna
option
do
there
that.
during the build process. Yes, we do. Also, I want it now. Yeah, we want to give it to you right now, but we're not, like Andrew said earlier, we're not going to release this out to the public with it being, a little half-baked on the front end.
Absolutely. And like I said, UK, Mexico, Spain, France, Germany, all of the UK, Australia, and if there's any other areas, Liberia, and I'm not going to mention who said it, whatever areas you guys want, let us know so we don't have it.
Oh man, the messages are flying in now.
Let's see, affiliate program. Yeah, we never actually even discussed it, but yeah, I guess we could. Okay. How does the SERP Spike help to rank a particular high competition? Okay, so basically what these sites do is that depending on what your keywords are, I mean, we have certain keywords that rank like in really high competitive areas, and And we also have keywords that we know we're not going to be able to get those high competitive areas, so we're looking for the outlying regions that are right around that major metropolitan area, you know, and we know that we're going to be able to rank for those. So basically what it does is it's just going to take those users that hit that site and you can funnel them whatever the heck you want to funnel them to. Okay, let's see.
To answer your question, Doug, real quickly, states and SERP landlord get two posts per city to sort of beef up the site a little bit because the state level is much, much smaller. What else do we got here? Affiliate program. Right now, we're not in that mode. This is really, really
like I said, we
disruptive.
discussed that we're not 100% sure what we're going to do. We may do something like that down the road, but we can talk about it if somebody's really interested.
Yep, we have the capability to do it. I mean, we could even do a JV Zoo integration if we really wanted to, but I don't think we really want to do that because that's not who we are. If anything, our affiliate program would probably be, you know, you guys going out to people, you know, and getting an affiliate commission from just